I remember the day we got the first trailer for this game. I went nuts, screaming it to all my friends about how the House of the Dead is finally being remade and about how great this game looked. Even my friends were hyped too, and half of them hadn't even played the series. They just saw how hyped I was and were happy for me. Then the day came, and I bought it on PC. And then I also pre-ordered the limited edition of this game, which did come with these lovely small pop-up figures, cool stickers, and a sexy as fuck case. Now I bet you're wondering why I've told you all this, and this is because I wanted to preface this video by showing and explaining how much of a fan I was for this series and how hyped and personal this game was for me. And so I can't promise to have a completely neutral opinion, but I will promise to try my best. I will be trying to tackle this game from both the perspective of a long-term fan, as well as someone who will be looking at this game from a roughly neutral standpoint. I will try to provide both perspectives the best I can. So, get out your AMS standard issue pistol and get ready as we tackle the House of the Dead Remastered. One more thing, I will be mainly talking about the PC version of this game, as it is, in my opinion, the best version of this game you can own. So anyway, let's start off with the good. So, you know, when I talk shit about this game, it ultimately looks better on my part when I do. Wow, that was shallow. So let's start off with how this game looks, and I have to say, it looks fantastic. Everything from basic enemies to player characters, even scientists look incredible. All of these models have been given modern tweaks to bring this game to life, with great facial animations as well as much more detailed and improved designs that stay true to their originals but still add modern flair and depth thanks to the newer engine. An example of this is how the scientists run towards you after you save them. In turn, it's still a very large and much more bouncier animation like the original, but it's more fluid in motion, and seeing that, it just brings a bit of a smile to my face that, you know, they've managed to just tidy things up a bit. I know this would be very easy to almost port over from the original, but as I have stated before in the iceberg that I did covering this series, the code for the original game was lost, so I do have to give props for the developers managing to recreate it so authentically. Another great part of this game is its fantastic use of lighting and how much it adds to the atmosphere of the game. I mean, you see this starting out in the first chapter with the red sky giving off this dark blood red hue of the map, before you either transcend into the sewers where things get darker in its colouring, or if you choose to go through the front door, the main areas of the mansion are brighter, lighter, but hide darker corners, tempting you with the idea that the mansion is a safe space, yes, but there are things lurking in the darkness that you don't want to come across. Moving on, we now come to the game's engine, and for the most part, this game runs as smooth as a hot knife through butter. Even on Horde mode, where the enemy numbers are drastically increased. Although I do remember when the game first came out, I swear I did have a few performance issues, but since replaying it recently, I no longer experience them. If any of you guys know what this is all about, feel free to update me in the comments. I have been a bit out of the loop recently, but yeah, just comment down below if there has actually been a patch or something that I've missed that's fixed these issues. Speaking of comments, the voice acting. Okay, that segue was kind of stretching, but still, the voice acting in this game is great. It maintains its corny B-movie style, but this time it's done with intent. And I just have to commend Brian Connor on his voice acting for Dr. Curian. This man has the most standout performance by far. I know it's because he's got the most lines, but at the same time, it's just fantastic. It's at times like these where I actually wish we got like collectibles in the form of audio logs, like of Curian and some of the characters, so these voice actors could have done more. could have been interesting lore-wise, where Curian talks about how he developed the genome sequence. Anyway, I would like to preference that another character I would love to highlight is Chris Okawa's, I'm sorry if I mispronounced your name, voice work for Thomas Rogan. It's great. It's cheesy again, but it's just hitting that right spot of, it's done with intent, but it's so bad it's good intent. Another nice thing about this game that especially I and a lot of the older fans enjoy is the new additions. These being the gallery, where you can check out all your favourite creatures and all their gory glory, as well as the achievements for all you completionists out there to go through and play the game in really ridiculous ways you've never thought of before. And of course, my personal favourite of the new additions, the armory, full of new weapons you can unlock after playing through the game and having saved every scientist you come across. These new weapons are the best new addition to the game, each of them hosting a separate strength and weakness respectively. The classic AMS pistol is your standard workhorse, to the point you just aim, shoot, no damage modifiers or perks, just does the job and it does it effectively. The crossbow is your boss killer item, having an increased damage against, you guessed it, bosses, allowing for you to make most of them look like jokes as you strip them of half their health with one magazine. The assault rifle is a great spray and pray weapon with a huge magazine size and extremely high DPS, at the cost of the loss of accuracy and recoil upon sustained fire, making it kind of a risky weapon to use if you don't manage your recoil well. Moving on, we have the Pitter, a strange weapon that I haven't quite honestly figured the purpose of, besides making the fucking enemies ragdoll. And it's such a great nice callback to Sega's Vampire's Night. Last but not least, we have the grenade launcher, an effective room clearer and scientist killer. I'm just gonna go in with this one with a warning. It will make the game easy, it will make horde mode a joke, but this thing will kill practically everything on screen, including scientists. It also seems to generate less score than any other weapon, I'm sure. Still, the gallery and all of these weapons are very welcome additions to add replay value to this game. The biggest and the most important thing they had to get right, and they did, was the gameplay. And they nailed it completely. It's fast, it's hectic, and it's also filled with so much gore. Given the current direction the games have been going in and how they've been handling the gore, it feels so good to have a current generation House of the Dead game where you can blow limbs off zombies. This, combined with how well and quickly the transitions give you just that breathing room to sit back and soak in all the carnage you've caused whilst getting ready for the next fight that just lays ahead of you. It's a perfect balance of gameplay that works very well in this game's favour. Overall, this game looks great, runs great, feels fantastic, and is all over a very, very solid remake. Although this doesn't mean it's perfect, which brings us to start off, I can't help but feel starved of content in this game. Given this game was released in 2022, I can't help but feel there should have been more content in this game. I understand there is only so much you can do with a game of this type, but I feel like we could have had so much more. For example, we only theoretically have 4 separate game modes, if you could even call them that. There's Horde mode, where zombie numbers are drastically increased, multiplayer mode, which comes in both competitive and cooperative, and of course we have the standard mode, which comes in both modern and classic in terms of score modes, but even then they don't really feel varied in execution. Compare this to House of the Dead 2 and 3 Return, let's say, where we had a training mode, where we had very different challenges, a boss rush, which had their own leaderboards where you could just kill the bosses as quickly as possible, And you also had both arcade and original mode coming with cool modifiers where you could, you know, increase life, change ammo pool, give yourself cool new skins. And the method to earn these arcade mode modifiers was really cool, which was in the time traveling elevator, another quick time-based mode. All of these in a game that was released in 2008. When comparing these two, I'd sooner have one with more game modes and less different point systems. Another thing that I wish this game should have come with was much more variety in terms of character. We got little hints of the devs being able to do this with both how G and Rogan interact differently in cutscenes, as well as having different dialogue between them. But it would have been cool to have taken this opportunity to a much larger extent. Have some, you know, different characters and, you know, like the other AMS agents. It would have been great for some world building. I don't know, maybe, you know, Harry or Amy, some of the original ones. So like you could leave James and like Gary out of this and save them for 2, but I feel like this could have been a really good way to establish character relationships. Hey, you could even put Sophie in there for the fun of it. It wouldn't have done any harm. It could have just been like recontextualized skins on top of the already pre-established models. Just something different to look at during these cutscenes would have been interesting. And even then, it would have just been nice to have had more, I don't know, world building and character in terms of more voice lines, more interactions. You know, similar to the later games, how it's not just during cutscenes they talk, it's also during gameplay and certain events. It would have been nice. And I think there was one thing. There was one thing I was missing. What was it again? I can't remember. I can't put my finger on it. There's just something I'm missing. Something I've talked about in the past that I really did love about the original game, but now I can't remember for the life of me. Alright. The music. Now, all I have to ask is why? 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 Why was it changed so much? There was no reason. The original soundtrack was full of absolute bangers. And now it's just, Like, if the soundtrack hadn't been so great to begin with, I wouldn't have been this annoyed, but I mean, I don't know. The worst offenders for this treatment have to be both Chapter 2's theme, which is my favourite across the entire series, and Magician's theme. The theme of the Magician, man. Now, it's not terrible per se, but it's just not on the same level as that original soundtrack, man. It's just a disappointment. It really is. Well, I think all that's left to do now is wrap this up. Overall, what do I think of this game? It's good. Really good, in fact. But do I think it's worth the price tag? On PC, yeah. But that Switch price tag, I don't quite know. This game is great for long-term fans who, like me, really wanted to see this absolute banger of an arcade classic be given a new modern coat of paint. But if you're a newcomer, well, I think I'll leave that choice up to you. But personally, I think House of the Dead 2 and 3 Return is still the best starting point for this series, as it has so much more for you to do. But who knows? Maybe you'll like this game more. Maybe you found this video pointless and are wondering why the hell you even listened to my opinion in the first place. Well, if that's what you think, then I want you to know you're a c***. Anyway, I hope you've all enjoyed this video. If you want to stay updated with all that new content coming your way, why not hit the subscribe button and even tap that bell? If you like this video so much, how about you show me your support by liking it? Or if I've missed anything that you personally feel like I should have talked about, or, you know, you just think my opinion's wrong because I'm bit-ish, leave a comment. But this has been the Ginger Gamer, and I will see you in the next one.